Hello, we are live. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Winner.
How is everybody doing today?
Yes, it's a bank
Hello.
holiday.
Sort of
and
good morning over here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we are joined by the amazing Sarah Magida, and we are going to be talking about confidence, and we are going to be talking about confidence programs, and we are so excited to. I mean, it's a sunny day. Like, how can we not be super happy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Over here too.
Especially
Over in the USA.
In the USA.
in the USA. And so we had weeks and weeks and weeks of rain, and we started thinking, okay, so no spring.
So this
then.
is our life. Yeah.
So the fact that we have our last bank holiday now until August, so we have one in August, and then nothing till Christmas. I'm not trying to preempt Christmas, but I'm just saying we're on a roll.
Oh my God. We haven't even had the best holiday of them all yet, Halloween, and you're just sat there talking about Christmas? No, thank you.
I know. And it's
No,
exciting.
thank you.
Because we finally have nice weather here in the UK, in the UK. So that's wonderful.
In the Ark.
How are you doing, Sarah? How are you?
I'm doing really, really well today. Yes, and happy to see you too, and happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, we are so happy to be featuring you today. Thank you so much for joining us, honestly. And you're joining us from Firefly Life Coaching. Thank you so much. How is everything going?
It's going great, actually,
Yeah.
despite, a global pandemic. It's going really well. And I focus on artists. So, they need help.
Yes.
They need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a long live then, Sarah.
Yeah. And for anybody watching, sorry, I was just going to say, for anybody watching, I promise I'm not crying. I've just managed to get moisturizer in my eye, and it is just driving me crazy.
Sure.
But yes, also artists.
Also,
as an artist, oh.
So what do you find the main thing that comes up for life coaching and with artists? What comes up?
A lot of self-doubt is huge. A lot of, to tie it all back in, confidence, and that also relates to doubt in yourself. And then a lot of what we describe in the life coaching community as falling into the how hole, which is how will you get there? How will you have the time? How will this work? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All the hows that come up. But really working to get past that hows and just doing it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is hard, though. That is so hard to kind of go, this is my passion. I want to start an online business, or I want to do online shows or whatever. I don't know how the technology works. I don't know how I'm going to find out. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. I don't know how. It really does mess with us all.
Yeah.
So, I think, so, okay, this is just my observation. So this doesn't apply to all artists, obviously. But a lot of times artists aren't always business people.
True.
I'm trying to be really careful. So I think, their whole function and their whole reason for being is about creatives. They don't want to get into the how does business work world necessarily. I mean, lots of them are working and, in the business world by default. But I mean, they don't necessarily want to go into that how. They just want, like, can somebody else do that?
Yeah, it's true. That's true, but it's so important to be like in charge of what you are doing and what you are putting out there into the world. And really, like, that's reflecting how your self-worth is.
Yeah. And knowing your
about you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. How did you sort of get into this?
Well, I have a long history of making art and, and performing as well. And when you're making art, visual art at least, usually you're spending a lot of time by yourself. When you're performing, you are spending a lot of time with other people and being like that kind of light for other people and, showing yourself. So being seen is what it comes down to. So just like balancing out those two worlds was tricky. And I feel like getting through a lot of depression things and then art, confidence really brought me into this more of an interest in how you can undo the fears behind being an artist.
Right.
And I wanted to give that gift to other people too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Love that. And now you have a brand new program coming out this week. Well,
yes, next weekend. Yes, but it is this. No, it's Sunday. It starts Sunday.
Ooh, exciting! So what's going on? What's the whole course about?
So it's called From Confused to Confident, and there will be a link to it and all that kind of good stuff. And it was on sale. Maybe I'll put that on sale again just for you guys.
I'll put the
and it's really focusing on, we all are familiar with energy, as crazy as that sounds. And it's all about the energy that comes from behind making things. So, artists of any kind call it like creative flow. So when you're in flow, you're just really producing well, you're making things happen. You're feeling a lot more confident in what you're doing. And I know we're coming out of a lot of confusion, mass confusion, if you could call it that.
Yeah, fully.
And, a lot of like, well, what do we do? What are we doing now? Where are we going with all this? And so it's creating, a big connection to creativity and creative flow and how to access that, and then how to move forward confidently in that.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. Yeah, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I should. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun to have you. Yes.
Yeah, it is. I think a lot of artists, especially in the pandemic, myself included, have really struggled to figure out that balance and that balancing act. And it is not something that is taught or spoken about freely. People talk about block, but they don't. And they sort of give maybe a couple of tips of how to get over block, but they make it sound very simple. I had writing tutors who would frequently just sort of say, "Oh, well, just keep writing." And you're like, well,
that's not the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not it. So it is a very difficult thing, especially when, as you say, especially during the pandemic, and Heather touched on this earlier, the idea of knowing how to do everything is something that is kind of a difficult starting point, because you're almost expected to be able to transition straight into these things. Like with live shows, for instance, online, people were talking about, oh, well, just make a video. And loads of us were like, how? What? But you didn't feel like you were able to access that or to speak about it properly. How do you kind of broach some of that, like that initial sort of like the initial how do you broker that question?
Well, it's a big process for me to like take a client through.
Sure.
So I'm gonna greatly abbreviate it right now.
Sure. Yeah.
And just say, it's really important, I think, for all artists, just to get in touch with like what makes you different in your performance, and then really go to town with that and show off your difference as much as you can. And that may not mean making a very standard video about what you do. And of course, we all have phones these days. It's true. But really taking people into your world as a performer or as a musician, or however you express yourself. And like it doesn't have to be that standard, like you're on a stage performing. It really take them into like what makes it so different that you're performing. It doesn't have to be like modeled so much after a cabaret or after a stage performance. Yeah, so I definitely recommend like doing your own spin on it, really, and not being so comparanoia-ish about it.
Comparanoia is my favorite new word. Comparanoia. Yes, that is definitely a thing.
Yeah, and really looking into like breaking the mold of what does it mean to be a performer during Corona, or like moving out of Corona even, and how can you express yourself? This might even mean you're finding a different way to do it, which takes time. It does. Yeah. So.
Because I'm really happy because this is good this is a good soundbite. I'm going to go back and listen to this section again afterwards, because I think, you know, a lot of times we do compare ourselves, and
Yeah.
not specific to artists. In fact, someone in the community has said, you know, I never think about it with artists. You know, it's like, you're so creative. Why would you think like that? But it is something that we all and we expect it from business people. You know, it's like, well, yeah, because you're trying to grow your business and there's pressure, but actually there's pressure for us all. You know, we all have a stage life. We all have whatever that is. This is a stage life, you know. And I think because Ryan has booked me to perform, I'm going to need to go back in a few short weeks. So I'm going to need to go back and listen to that soundbite again and go, okay, what is uniquely me? Let's do this.
Right. No pressure. All the pressure.
No pressure. No, but you're right, because it doesn't matter if you're the best, because you're not competing against other people. It's expressing yourself, and that's so beautiful about artists, is that they a lot of the times can get that about self-expression and their own voice and their own message and their own thing, even if it's not for somebody else. But then you add on top of that pandemic, and like you said, Ryan, you know, all the adding video and all these other formats, and then now we can go back on the world and all these other things. It's like, wow.
When you start to stack it all on, that's a headache.
Yeah.
But you know, really just taking, what do they say? In order to eat an elephant one bite at a time, you know, just one thing. It's okay. We're all going through it, one thing at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. We often talk in the community about taking those small steps and making and not underestimating the impact of a small step, which sounds, you know, sometimes like an oxymoron, but at the same time, it's very true to that experience. You know, taking the smallest step is often what allows us to take, you know, the first step along a greater journey. You know, it all starts with that one thing. I know it's a truism, but it you know, we all start with one step. And
also, sorry to interrupt.
No, feel free.
Oh, taking the time to have fun with what you're doing. Like, don't forget that this is supposed to be really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and like getting in touch with that like play part of things.
Yeah.
Where you're just, you know, enjoying it. And if you want to share that with people, you can. If you don't want to share it with people, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's all for you and being grounded in what you do as an artist.
It's all for you, Damien. And I think that touches on something. I mean, Heather has said this quite a number of times in Competence Through Cabaret about the value of play. People often forget that, especially in a business setting. They really forget the importance of play. How do you live that with your own practice as a coach and as an artist?
Oh, I love it. I think it's so important for me as a person, and just realizing that I need that in my life.
Right.
And then 2, doing that in my life. That's been like, both those things have been realizations and processes just in itself.
Right.
So right now we have the cicadas visiting us.
Oh yes.
Senior cicadas. And it's chaos. At least on my street it is. Like, they're flying all around, they're making their noises. And it's been really fun. Also, I have friends in town visiting it, and she has 2 little kids, and they're just a riot. And so really getting in touch with that like child part of you, and like the awe of being around nature and being around all these bugs flying everywhere. You know, they're landing in my hair. They're like, you know, taking a little ride on my shoulder. It's just, you know, and you go with it because it's here.
Yeah. And this is the first time in 17 years, right? They've done that as well.
Yeah, they come every year, but it's not as extreme. This is like the 17-year, no joke. They're everywhere. And so the one little kid had a bug purse.
Right.
And it's just this little plastic purse that you can stick the bugs in, and then carry it around with you like it's a purse. So she let me carry it around. It was really fun. So, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, making art as your fun thing. You know, take that into your life. And that's where you can get loosened up more.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think you're
I'm a
following
big fan of play, and
Mhm.
it's amazing how many people will say, "Yes, but just follow the instruction and do the thing and get to the end." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if we play with it," I mean, the thing is, that's
Yeah.
when you find a world of possibilities, right? And
Yeah, that's where innovation comes from.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Disturbing the thinking, looking at something, eating an ice cream cone from the sideways instead of the top. No, I love all that kind of stuff. And Ryan calls me an agent of chaos, which I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that, but that's the joy of playing, right?
Yes.
It's
Right.
just, you
Yes.
know, I
And you
mean,
can find things you didn't expect along the way.
yeah,
You know, like when you take a step away, sometimes that's the best step instead of being so in your head about
Yeah.
what you're doing. Like
yeah,
writing and just being like, no, I have to. That I
Yeah.
have to energy, you know, that's probably what's stopping you and putting that lid on all your creativity and blocking it.
I do not thrive well in I have to for very long. I just don't see the point. I just
Yeah.
don't. There's very few things that we have to. Now,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
workshop, then we feel like there's lots of things we have to. I mean, I had 4 children, so I often felt like I have to, but I didn't really have to do a lot of those things. And in fact, now thoroughly enjoy my children going, "Oh, I wish you would grow up." Thinking, "Oh, why should I? I mean, why would I do that?
Compliment.
If I was going to grow up, I would have been a better mother. But hey, so it was fun though, right? We all had a great time, and nobody got hurt. So
Right.
um, yeah, but have to. I think even when you, sorry, I just caught a glimpse of Ryan drinking his Ribena, and I just had a flat of like, you're drinking whiskey. Anyway, sorry. See, this is what I do, and then I'm like, and then I'll go into a whole thing about whiskey. Let's
We'll
do
get
the.
through the day differently during lockdown. I mean,
Like, I'm not judging. I'm just saying it was fun.
right.
But I think yeah, I think that bit about like you have to, like, even if I call up a call center and I'll say like, okay, how do I do this thing? And they say you have to. I'm like, I don't have to do anything. Like don't go there. Like, if you want this to work, you need to do this. I'm okay with that. Like, I get there are some things that need
Yeah.
to be done, but they don't have to. Like, I'm allowed to choose not to. Like, even with my iPhone, when they added this is going way off topic, when they added the little like thumb recognition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to use my thumb. And I knew the guys in the Apple store, my local Apple store, really well. And they were like, okay, well, you like, it's safe, right? We don't get that much data about you, so we can't use it or anything. And I was like, yeah, but I might want to turn to a life of crime. You don't know. I like leaving my options open. I don't have to do it this way. I can type in my password. And for about 2 years, I typed in my password because I was told I have to use my thumb. And I was like, no. So it has the opposite effect. Well, contrary, but I think it has the opposite effect. And I think that play thing, when we're adults, like, when does that stop? When do we stop taking the bug purse and skipping?
Yeah.
Like, when does it stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And I think a lot could be said there. A lot. And it's like you forget how to access that like childhood part, or that fun unbridled joy part of being alive, because things get so regimented and so heavy.
Yeah.
With working a 9 to 5, or feeling like you have to work a 9 to 5 in order to survive as an artist, or there are ways to get around that, because I worked a 9 to 5 and I was miserable.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not worth the misery.
Yeah.
I'd much rather just get back to my work that I feel like I'm much more meant to do, and it's much more alignment, much more vision, much more mission, with what brings me joy ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then taking time for self-care or for breaks or whatever, because I'm just looking at Sarah's here in the comments saying, I get stuck on my book. And it's like, yeah, when you're doing something for joy and then you're not even enjoying it anymore, then as you said,
it's time to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go and
skip.
I
fully encourage hobbies, like things that aren't there to get so serious and so tied up in.
Yeah.
That you can just leave and come back to.
Sure.
Okay.
My hobby is my garden right now.
Right.
I can't quite leave it and come back to it because it'll get wild and crazy, and we have neighbors. Be like, "What's up with your garden?" Which isn't a big deal, too much to me, but you know, I have to maintain it. But it's a good release. It's a good hobby to have. You know, it takes you away from some of the seriousness that you might associate with your artwork, and like some of the like thoughts about like, oh, I have to get this done. Oh, it has to be perfect. Oh, I have to again. You know, that's really sort of the stopping point. When you hear yourself say you have to, then it's time to do something else.
Yeah.
Switch it up. Yeah.
And again, it's, you know, you talked about balance before. It's a balance again, because if we always play, which is something I would do, then we don't get anything done. So I can be doing something where we need to be writing something, and I can go, oh, let me play with the logo. Oh, let me make this new little thing. Oh, and I'll start doing the stuff that I would rather do. And then I can convince myself I was busy all day because I can, you know, I got a list. But actually, sometimes we have to be disciplined to sort of say, this has to get done. Like this, at least it needs to get done if I'm going to move forward. You know, and that was the part, right? If I want to go back to the stage, I have to, you know, I don't know, reach out and do bookings, or I have to, you know, or I need
there's
to,
like the what I call like the hardcore business side of things, where you just have to buckle down. For me, it's putting images online. I'm like, okay, it's time to take pictures of your work and what you've done. You know, you kind of parent yourself. Okay, it's time to do this and get this done and be on time. You know, and like I'll have days like that, and it's productive and it's good to be your own mom or dad or whoever, but it doesn't have to be that way every day.
No, or not all day even. You know, we can have breaks if we do it right. You know, do an hour of work and then have 20 minutes in the garden or whatever.
Yeah. Like rewards are great treats to have. To keep you going with those days where it's like admin tasks.
Absolutely.
And then I talk to some people and they're like, I love documenting my work. And I'm like, ooh, we're not the same people.
It's interesting, isn't it, how there's so many different aspects of the process that delight people in separate ways. Like I think some people, much like yourself, you know, it's like, how do I document the work? And then that becomes its whole, you know, level of procrastination.
That you go
and it's just another level of it. And it's like, well, I can't put the flatbed scanner on this 8x10 canvas, so you know. And so it ends up becoming another area almost of procrastination. I think we're all capable of doing that, especially in any area of our life. You know, we kind of get stuck into that circumstance again of how, and the tyranny of how, instead of looking at the processes and maybe playing with it and then seeing something that we didn't see before, a new way of documenting it, a new way of you know, advertising ourselves, or just a new way of coming about the work or the solution in and of itself.
Or you make a trade. You say, hey, friend who loves documenting work, want to document my work, and I'll do some of the stuff that you don't like to do that I love to do. Trades are great.
Skill share. Absolutely. Fully.
Or give them some money and not return the favor. Or give them some money and they give you it back to do whatever it was they didn't.
Just sharing the same tenor. I've been in that before. Oh my goodness.
So you're doing your workshop on Sunday?
Yes, Sunday it starts.
And how long is the workshop?
It's 3 days of hour-long webinars that will be live, and then they'll also be recorded and sent out. There is homework and there is bonus content.
Woo!
Oh, nice.
And how much is it to join?
Right now it is I think it's $24.99.
Oh, amazing.
Because it's a Facebook event and you pay through Facebook. But I'm gonna see what tricks I can pull through this Facebook event and either give you a code or just switch the event around some and discount it for you guys.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, for your
That's
group.
really
Yeah.
lovely. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So if anybody's watching this, make sure you check out and follow this kind of thread through and see, and do take Sarah up on this, because it's going to be a really, really interesting set of events. So 3 days plus bonus content.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah,
And you don't have to be an artist to get value from this.
No, I work with musicians and writers and
Yeah.
all kinds of people. Yeah, you don't have to be a visual artist to do it. But I am, when it comes I was coaching people more through business stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, this is not my place of joy.
Right.
This is not where I have the most fun.
Right.
I know people want to know things like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, just tell me the answer and I'll do it. Just tell me the answer. And I'm like, that's not really how it works, actually.
Yeah.
People connect to you when they know that you're having the most fun of your life.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we're quite opposite. I don't love the life coaching bit as much as the business stuff. I don't tell them to run their business, but I help them figure out what their priorities are, and I help them figure out how to tackle it and how they can find out, and so they stay empowered and engaged. And I think there are a lot of people calling themselves business coaches who have a program and they take you through and you follow these steps. It's not coaching as far as I'm concerned. And so so I think, and that would kill the joy of business coaching for me, but it's quite fun that we have different emphasis. Obviously in business, when you're starting or trying to ignite your business, then, there is some personal life that comes into it. And so I end up doing some life coaching, as I'm sure you do with the business stuff, but we need to swap clients that we don't have fun.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
I'll do the same.
Yeah, because I handle mostly like what's behind you not doing this thing that you said you do a zillion times.
Yeah.
What's causing that, like, A is not connecting to B going on. And then, getting them into a place where A connects to B. They're just like, oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I love this. And I'm so glad we connected last week, because this is perfect timing to be able to share this with everyone. Okay, so I have a question then.
Yes.
How do you define confidence?
Explain confidence, or
explain it. Yeah. What's confidence?
Confidence is when and it doesn't have to be an introvert extrovert thing. I think people often associate extroverts with being more confident than introverts, because I consider myself more of an introvert, and I'm just like, still here, still doing stuff, still being confident with what I do. I think confidence has to do with feeling so connected to what you do that nothing can stop you in sharing it and showing it and having it be part of your world and other people's.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, a lot of times people will say, well, it's confidence is, not being afraid to do something. It's like, no, you can have a fear and be confident.
Oh yeah. And you can use that fear to, like, propel you into your confidence space. Or understand that fear and be like, oh, I'm about to do something really big. Okay, that's why I'm scared. That's why my stomach feels like it's turning inside out.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Because that's what's going to bring me the growth too.
Yeah, absolutely. And adrenaline and fear feel very similar. So it's not something, it's maybe just uncomfortable for people, but the more you do it, the more comfortable it does become, and actually you start to thrive on it. You start to feel good about that little boost that propels you.
A lot of performers, definitely. And I think for, like, specifically visual artists, it's a little bit more of a private thing. Like, you're like, oh, I'm onto it.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. I'm onto it. You might be alone in your studio for days.
Yes.
But, like, it's like, I'm onto the thing right now. And for performers, it's like, I'm about to step on stage and this is going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm scared, but it's going to happen, and I'm getting that boost.
Right.
I'm using it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they come off, they go, oh, I want to do that again. It's so interesting, isn't it? But what you want to do, that you were terrified, that you told me you didn't want to do 3 minutes ago?
Yep. That's how that works.
Yeah, I used to be in a dance troupe and dance before, and every time before a performance, it was like handshaking.
Right.
It was like, what am I doing?
Oh yeah.
I remember the steps, but then you go out and you do it, and it's great, and you're like, oh my God, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
And then again before the performance, you're like,
yeah. Oh my God, I will never. I was booked once for a friend's wedding, and they were like a rock and roll couple. So they'd organize bands and everything to do their whole wedding after party, and they were one of the bands. It was their whole thing, and we'd rehearsed like a 3-song set together, and my sister and I were also DJing for them. And just before we went on, they were introducing me, and I looked at my sister and went, I can't do this. I don't remember a single word of any of the songs that we've got to do. I don't remember a single one. She just looked at me and went, go. They've just said your name. Just go. You're fine. I walked out onto the stage. The song started. I grabbed the microphone, sang straight away. And then by the time it was finished, I was like, can we do more? No. Oh, okay. I'll just go over here now. But it was that just beforehand, that was that if you could have given me something, I would have run. If that door had been open, I'd have been gone. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the fear is gone.
Yeah. It's like, like you take on the muse or something, like you connect. Yeah.
You step on through.
Okay. So we will hit this up on all of our socials, put links in. We'll make sure, if you have any questions, get in touch with Sarah at Firefly Life Coaching, or else
online. You can send me questions on Facebook. I'm Cha-Cha Magida, if that helps. Yes.
Oh yeah, I'll quickly put the link tree into the actual comments.
I actually have put Cha-Cha Magida on the on the description of this, so you'll see it there as well.
Perfect.
And Sarah's in our community, so so you can find them there.
Perfect.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been fabulous to talk about artists and confidence and catch up, really.
Yeah. It's so good to hear you guys are doing well and things are sort of slowly rolling out over there. And we're all sort of in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you so much for your time today. It really was such a pleasure, and we can't wait to hear about how everything goes over the weekend. You have to let us know.
I will. I'll be in touch. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you to everybody who watched us. My name is Ryan.
I'm Heather.
I'm Sarah.
And this is Confidence in Cabaret, reminding you that it is your body, your world, your stage.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.